And we back. Another week. Crazy good talks. Hopping right into this one. Before I do, I just want to after 10 p.m. I just need to plug that real quick. After 10 p.m., Apple Music, Spotify, SoundCloud. It's finally out. Definitely proud of this body of work. Definitely a little something different. Pushed myself to be transparent. I always that's always a goal of mine. But I don't know, just open up in different ways, singing a little bit more, just trying different things. Like, anybody knows me, I get bored quickly. And so I'm always trying different things to push the sound. And like I said, I really enjoyed creating it. I enjoy the end product of it. Shout out to the guy E. Charles, mixing, mastering all of it. It's funny because actually these crazy good talks started as a way for me to talk about the music, and then it's just like I've gone on different tangents and everything. So I really wanted to like I said, use these convos and to kind of expound on what I couldn't say, what I was refrained to say, being contained within bar structure and having to rhyme things and everything like that. But yeah, it's just those songs were a collection. I don't want to say a collection of. Some of them were. This project took me a couple years to actually put together. I've been wanting to do this for a long time, where it's just a project. I always said I wanted to do a project. I refer to it as a chick project, where I just where it's just I just touch on a lot of different things relationship wise, and just what I experience, what I'm going through, and everything like that. Just saying things that I wanted to say, and that's kind of what it was. And it's funny because sometimes it's just I hear some of the feedback, and some people try to pigeonhole me to yeah, but Josh needs to rap, like Josh needs to, like, I need to do what I need to do, like, and don't take that the wrong way, but it's just like before it was rap, nobody was telling me to rap, so it's just like let me expound on what I need to expound on, and let other people get what they need to get from it. But the rap is always there. It'll continue to grow. Like I said, I just like to try different things as an artist. The freedom to express in different ways, I feel like, and I'm not pigeonholed to at this point, I'm not pigeonholed to like a huge fan base where it's like, oh no, they have to hear this, or I'm trying to sell this to sell. I'm not trying to sell anything, bro. Like I don't get it twisted. Like, I'd love to have my music sell and blah blah blah, but like I'm not trying to sell anybody on anything at this point in my life. Like, this is me, kind of take it or leave it type thing. So but yeah, it was cool navigating through that. After 10 p.m. For those of you that don't understand the title, it was just kind of, it's like you go through your day, everything is good, you focus on your goals, blah blah blah, getting in work, blah blah blah, and then I don't know, for me the magic hour has always been around that time. Next thing you know, you look up, next thing you know, it's just you're out of work and you're home, and it's just like you start thinking, your mind starts going, right? You have time to think, you start thinking, and it's just like you're thinking about crazy things, like things is just, why is this on your mind, or whatever the case may be. And it's just like you look up and it's after 10 p.m. Like that was my life for a little bit. And just as an artist, it's just I kind of understand why artists like to stay up at night to write, because it's just like you get to tap into these different emotions. You just start thinking of the craziest things, man. And so you get to tap into those emotions and see where it gets you, or whatever the case may be. But that was kind of the gist of After 10 p.m. It's just, I always warn anybody, I think I said this in a post one time, is get to sleep before 10, get to sleep before 11. Because after that, your mind just starts thinking, not even from a relational standpoint, it's just your mind just starts thinking, it just starts going places that it didn't necessarily need to go, but you're up, so it's going to go there. So that was kind of the gist behind the title of it. And yeah, so I'm gonna leave that at that. Y'all know what to do. I don't ask people for much. I do ask this. If it makes sense for you, this is the closest I get. Don't get it twisted. I'm not afraid to sell. I'm not afraid to push myself. I'm not afraid to anything like that. But like, if it don't relate to you, if you don't think that you want to listen to it, don't listen to it. I don't have a problem with that. Like, I'm not here to force anybody on my music. I'm not here to force anybody on my views. I'm not here to force anybody on anything. Like, I'm living and I'm putting things out. So it's just, if you think it'd be interesting to listen to, and you've been a fan of my music, or you've never heard any music and you wanted to kind of see what I'm into or what I'm up to or whatever the case may be, check it out. If not, that's cool too. Like, I don't hold no bearings over anybody. I'm just here, like I said, living out my path. And I said, if I brought in my Gary V voice, if I've brought you any value in anything that I do, I definitely appreciate it if you check it out. But only if it makes sense for you. Again, like, if you know that not your type of music, don't even engage. Like, I don't want that type of attention. Like, I really don't. Like, but yeah, we'll leave that at that. So I've been reading this, I've been listening audiobook. Every time I say reading, I'm referring to audiobooks. But listening to the Phil Jackson book. Phil Jackson, head coach of the Lakers, of the Bulls, coach Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, all of that. And if you know me, you know that I don't look up to many people. Kobe's definitely a dude that I definitely respect. I respect the work ethic, and I respect the transformation. I wasn't really a fan of him growing up, but I think the transformation from 8 to 24, when he started rocking the number 24, and it's just like you really seen his game elevate. Don't get it twisted, he did things wearing number 8 too, but it's just like the maturity really stood out to me. Work ethic, killer mentality, by any means necessary, get it done. I don't know, it just really resonated with me. So it's just like I was inclined to read other people's perspectives on him, and I know Jordan was a huge part of who he patterned his game after and everything. And one thing that I got from that was Phil was saying, letting the guys know, especially when he was coaching the Chicago Bulls, when they were forming their team and everything. He was talking about not focusing so much on winning. It's like, don't focus on winning. Focus on doing the things that you can to put yourself in a position to win, right? Because the end result of, like, you controlling the controllables, and I've talked on this briefly, but you always want to win, right? If Kobe had his way, he'd go 82-0, sweep everybody. Like, you always want to win, but then you have reality of what's going to happen, right? So what you're in control is in doing as many things as you can to set yourself up to win. But the win isn't really in your control. Like, the losing is as much of a reality as winning is. Right? Losing is as much of a reality as winning is. So it's just like, you need to be doing all the things that you can to place yourself in a position to win. And then more often than not, if you're doing the right things, you will. But you have to understand, even still, losing is a reality, right? And that's a part of the game, right? The game of basketball, that is a part of the game. The game of life, that is a part of the game. So it's just, I don't know, that really resonated with me, because I stopped, I don't know when consciously, but I've stopped putting, and I take it as I replace the word winning with success, right? I've stopped chasing that of just, okay, success, like I've stopped saying this specific thing has to happen, right? Don't get it twisted. Like, there's things that I want to happen. There's things that I'd like to experience. There's things, but I don't leave it as the end all be all, right? Because I try to focus more on, how do I say this? I try to focus more on what I can do to put myself in the best position to actually get to where I'm trying to go. I focus on those details a lot more than where it is that I'm trying to go. You know what I mean? I focus on trying to get myself as many opportunities as I can, to place myself in a better position to actually make those things happen, than to just try to focus on the end result, right? And that's why that kind of resonated with me, hearing Phil talk about that, because I'm just like, wow, like, that's kind of what my mind frame has been nonetheless, right? And then just talking about how the way you do anything is the way you do everything, right? And this, again, resonated with me a ton, because this is really why, like, about a year ago, I tried to, like, really take a shift and inventory of my life and started to try to turn things around, because I'm like, I used to think, you know what, I know when it comes to music and my passion and things and this and that, like, I know I can go 150%. But when it comes to things that I don't really want to do, I was just like, you know what, I'll just go 70%. I'll just go 60%. Like, I'll use 60% of my creativity, even though I know, like, if I really cared about this, I would have, like, this is what I would have done, and this. Like, I would have been this much more creative, because I could have done this, and this. But I never tried to tap into it, because I was just like, I really don't care too much about it. And then I realized that the way you do anything is the way you do everything. So I was like, yo, if I want to continue to be creative and become more and more creative, I have to be creative in everything that I do. Like, it can't just be, you don't just flip the switch on and off here. Like, if I want to be disciplined, I have to be disciplined in everything I do. Then I am disciplined, right? Discipline is not a thing that you turn on and off. Creative is not a thing that you turn on and off. And it's just like, if you're not using those things constantly, it's like you're not continuing building and growing in it. So it's like, for example, even when I was in the car business, I always had an idea. I had an idea from the beginning to do a caricature of myself and brand that to, like, help make customers more comfortable with me. It's just you want to do anything in sales. You want to do anything to get the customer on your side and make them feel comfortable. So it's just like I always thought that was a fun little way to. And then at the end of the day, not even that's for the customer, but then it was just for me. Like I just knew that I was able to brand myself. I knew that I would be able to brand myself some way that nobody else could brand them. Not only say nobody else could brand themselves, but not the average person could brand themselves. And I knew I had all these abilities. So it's just like I finally pushed myself to do the caricature by the at the tail end when I was still at Honda. And I put them on pens. I had a poster up of them. And then I was actually going to, like, if I had stayed, I would have moved on to doing a cutout. I was going to do a life-size cutout. I was going to do, I was just trying to get, like, a teddy bear of him, of, like just different things. And it was just, like I said, for me, it was more or less doing it for me to get that creative side out, like, and to keep creating, to see what else I can keep coming up with, because it was like when I had the idea for the caricature, I didn't have the idea for the teddy bear or the cutout or anything. Like I just had the idea for the caricature, and that's where my creativity stopped. But when I executed on the caricature, I was like, oh, I can do this. Oh, I can do merch. Oh, I can do this. Oh, I can do that. And it's like I realized like I could have built a whole world of things, like, and it would have just kept pushing my creativity and allowed me to learn more and more and more. And then that in turn, when I take it to music, it's like I'm building from there. I'm not starting from scratch. It's like I'm able to keep on being creative there and whatever it is that I had to do. So it's just like the way you do anything is the way you do everything. So that, like I said, that resonates with me heavy, because it's not about compartment. I can't even say it. I don't know why I can't say that word right now. Compartment. I don't even want to try it. It's not about it's not about shelving your talent here and shelving your talent there and being like, okay, I could turn the on off switch here for this and that. It's about constantly pushing yourself to be as creative as you can in everything that you do, as disciplined as you can in everything that you do. So that way you get into the best results. It's like in everything from your health to your weight to you got to regulate. Like if you start slipping on those things, it's like you're slipping in other areas. You have to have control over everything. So that was something else that I kind of stumbled on this week that really resonated with me. And then and I was listening to this song, and Common was saying, he said something like, don't you know you could only get as high as you fell? And that, I was just like, whoa. Because what's funny is I remember a couple years ago, I wrote a status about, to the degree that you love somebody is to that same degree you will be able to be hurt by them, right? And I remember people commented on it, asking me like what I meant, and it was just like what I was saying is like to the full extent that you love someone, as much as you feel like you can love them, or as much as you do feel like you do love them, it's like you can be hurt that much by them. Because you love them that much, it's like they can bring you that much pain too, right? It's two sides to it. So when I heard that, I was just like, wow, like that's the truth, and that too is like you can only get as high as your lowest point. Like that was very interesting to me, and the reason why it resonates so much with me is because, like I said, people have, how do I say this? People always wonder why other people are more motivated than them, or more driven than them, or whatever the case may be. And when you start to dig, you start to realize that the person that's been through more seems to have more motivation, right? The person that took more losses, that's lost more or gone through more turmoil and more struggle, seems to be more motivated. So it's like the prize, if you can say, for going through loss and turmoil and struggle is motivation, is drive, usually, right? I'm not saying in all instances, depending on how you want to take that. Like, you can take them circumstances for good or you can take them for bad. So it's like, but if you're able to cultivate that spirit, it's just, you're able to use that as gas, as gas to the flames, and motivation and drive. So it's just like, when it says you can only go as high as you fell, that to me, that there's so much truth in that statement. And for those of us that have been through much, and for those, like, it's like, that's motivating, because it's just like, wow, okay, now I can use this to my advantage. Like, let's use this to my advantage. Let's, and it's like I said, that to me is very motivating. Like, you didn't just go through whatever it is for no reason, right? And use that to your advantage. So we're going to wrap up there. This week's Crazy Good Talks. Again, after 10 p.m. Apple Music, Spotify. Yeah. You dig.